Hello everybody, and welcome to today's session. I am Karan Meeting, and in this session, I'll be talking about making your web apps highly available using Azure Traffic Manager. Before we start, let me introduce myself to you. As you know, I am Karan Meet, and I'm working as a technology evangelist, and I have a considerable amount of experience in Microsoft Azure infrastructure and platform as a services. Other than that, I am also keen about MDM scenarios, managing the mobile devices using Enterprise Mobility Suite. So, as you know, Microsoft Azure and Enterprise Mobility Suite, these are my keen interests in technology. This is the scenario, the web apps, making the web apps highly available using Traffic Manager. This is the scenario I have come up to you in the today's session. Before we start, let us talk a little about what exactly we'll be doing in this session. So, uh, Agenda for today will be what exactly is Azure Traffic Manager. I'll give you a brief review about how things actually happen using Traffic Manager. What exactly is Traffic Manager? Why do we use Traffic Manager? What are the challenges that are faced by IT companies, by different IT organizations, and the managers and the IT admins of the organization to manage the websites that are located at different geolocations. So other than that, we'll also have a quick demo. We'll talk about different scenarios, that the different challenges that the IT organization faces, and afterwards we'll move on to a quick demo how exactly the things look like on Azure, how exactly we can configure the things on Azure, and last but not the least, we will take your questions and answers before talking about pricing. So move ahead with the scenarios. What exactly is Azure Traffic Manager? Before I start, let me introduce you some of the challenges that the IT administrators are facing, organizations face. You can take examples of your website that are located in different locations of the world. Some of the applications can be located at somewhere in United States. Your application, the similar type of application for the users, can be located at can be hosted at in Europe, or uh, or maybe your application is somewhere in Japan or India, anywhere in the world, right? So how do you exactly manage the things when they are lying at different geolocations? So in that case, it would become quite difficult for the people who are using their own data centers to manage the things. So in that case, what you can do is you can actually migrate your applications to Azure, and you can actually play with the stuff. You can manage your applications, you can manage your web applications in such a way that with just one URL, your applications are up and running and are highly available with just one URL itself. So what exactly Azure Traffic Manager does? It controls the distribution of the user traffic, the traffic that is pointing towards the website, that the traffic that is coming from the outside internet to your particular application. So this could be an application, this could be a website in Azure, or it could be a virtual machine in Azure also, or it could be a cloud service also. So basically, when we talk about Azure Traffic Manager, we basically talk about the applications that are residing at different geolocations. So it could be your virtual machine, it could be any of the endpoint, it could be a website also. With Traffic Manager, you can actually manage all these things with just a single offering. It allows you to manage all of the things, to distribute the user traffic to different endpoints. So how it can help you, basically, let us move ahead and talk about that. So when I say Azure Traffic Manager, it helps us in improving the availability of our critical applications during disaster. When I talk about disaster here, you can simply imagine your websites are located at three different data centers of the world, three different Azure data centers, right? Imagine your website to be located somewhere in Korea, or somewhere in another application or similar type of application to be residing in Singapore, or one more application to be residing at somewhere in you can say United States, right? So what will exactly happen if any of your application stops working? What will you exactly do when your application has stopped responding? That would be a very grim scenario for IT administrators and organizations who manage the websites located at different locations, right? So with Azure Traffic Manager, you can actually make sure that your web applications are up and running even while any of the applications among those three applications gets down. So let us imagine there are three websites. So as I talked, the three websites are located at different locations. Imagine one website goes down. So what Azure Traffic Manager helps you with, it will probe that application regularly. If there is no 400, if there is not a 200 OK response from the website, if there is a response 400 response or above that, it will stop sending traffic to that which particular cloud service, website, or a virtual machine. So it also improves the responsiveness of your high performing applications. So how it actually improves the performance? When I say performance, it basically means it measures the round trip times of the latency. So when your users try to access the web application, so they will always be pointing towards the cloud service or the website or the virtual machine that is located nearest to them. So when in the scenarios of upgrading your application, or maintaining the hardware infrastructure of your application, or maintaining the underlying software of your application, it is actually a very good scenario, because without downtime you can actually migrate your on-premise applications to cloud. That means simply bursting up to the cloud, or you can fail over to the cloud when your application residing at your own data center, it's under the maintenance, it's being used for the maintenance purposes. So you can also distribute your traffic for the large and complex deployments. We'll be talking about that in further slides. So let us move ahead. So now this is the question you might be wondering till yet, that how exactly things work in Azure Traffic Manager. So it distributes the traffic to different endpoints, but how? So as you can see on your screens, the user here tries to access a website that is www.contoso.com. So as a C name, this website is pointing towards contoso.trafficmanager.net. Now what exactly contoso.trafficmanager.net here is? It's the you can say the DNS name of the Azure Traffic Manager profile that you create, that you configure in the Azure portal. So when you exactly want to start the things and you want to get started with Azure Traffic Manager, what you do is you simply go to the portal and you start configuring the routing methods. You start configuring the DNS name of your of the Traffic Manager endpoint to which your users will be striking, right? So this is just the first step of configuring the Traffic Manager. So let us get back to the thing that we were talking about. So the user tries to open a website or browse a website www.contoso.com, and this website is in turn being pointed to the DNS name contoso.trafficmanager.net, which is obviously the DNS name of the Traffic Manager profile. So what happens is the user's local DNS server, it routes the traffic to this particular URL contoso.trafficmanager.net. So now is the time actually the trickier part comes. Actually, how the things are distributed, how the traffic is distributed between different virtual machines. So as you can see, let us move ahead to the slide. Yeah. So Traffic Manager now here, this profile, when the users strike this endpoint, this Traffic Manager has the task to decide what of the endpoints to provide back to the client, to provide back to the DNS server, which in turn provides back to the client. So So what exactly happens is, according to the routing method, I'll be talking about what exactly is routing method, but let us just move ahead with this. According to the routing method, that could be a performance based routing method, that could be a failover routing method, and there is one more routing method, that is weighted routing method. I'm not sure about that, let me just confirm. Yeah, so there is one more, that is round robin routing method. So what exactly happens is, according to these routing methods, any of the routing method that is configured with this traffic manager endpoint, it simply diverts and divides the traffic among your endpoints. So what by saying diverging or dividing the traffic among endpoints, it simply means that traffic manager here now decides among which of the traffic manager among which of the virtual machines or the cloud services or the websites, of which of these following websites or virtual machines, whatever it is, it should provide back to the DNS client, which in turn will provide back to the client. So here, according to the routing method, it is one of the service is selected from below, and it is provided back, it is sent to the DNS, the user's local DNS server, which resolves it into an IP and provides back to the client, and in the end client accesses that website. So it's not a rocket science, it's a matter of minutes how to set up the things, and it will be up and running. I'll quickly show you later in this tutorial. So let me talk about some of the routing methods. Yeah, so there are basically three types of routing methods when I say traffic manager. So the first one is failover, the second one is round robin, and last but not least, there's this one, performance. So when I talk about the failover routing method, basically what it does is, as I talked about the process of how the endpoint is provided back to the DNS name of the endpoint is provided back to the client. It's the same procedure, but the only difference is selecting which endpoint, to which of the select point the traffic manager is going to opt for. So as you can see in the failover method, the CSA, by CSA, this is basically the abbreviation of Cloud Service A. You can imagine it to be a website, a virtual machine, or anything else, right? So imagine this is not working as of now. The Cloud Service A, which is the primary endpoint, it's not working. Imagine there is some hardware failure or a software failure, although this would not be a case in Azure. If you migrate your applications to Azure, this will not be the case, because Azure provides you 99.99% SLA and 99.95% SLA for your endpoints, for your loads, right? So just imagine it's not working, it's offline, or just imagine it's gone, it's not working, right? So what exactly traffic manager routing method, this failover routing method, it does is, it will simply shift the traffic to the next cloud service that you have selected as per your priority. So again, imagine the cloud service B is also stopped working, it's not working, right? So it will again shift back the load. It will start sending traffic to the next cloud service in the suite. So basically, now when I talk about round robin routing method, what Azure Traffic Manager does is, it chooses one of the endpoint at random, and then it sends traffic to different endpoints in a round robin fashion. So you can imagine the traffic being sent to different endpoints in a you can say a random fashion. So firstly the traffic is being sent to the cloud service B, which has been selected as a random, right? So the next time it could be D, and the next time it could be A, and it could be C, right? So it follows this round robin fashion order, and distributes traffic among different services being located anywhere in the world, right? So using this round robin fashion also, you can actually set up weights, and you can define the percentage of traffic to be routed on your particular endpoint. So as you can see in this slide, different endpoints have different weights. CS cloud service A has 2 weights, B has again 2 weights, now C has 5 weights, and D has 1 weight. So by 5 weights, I simply mean here is that 50% of the traffic will be routed toward this particular cloud service, that is cloud service C, and rest 20% for A, 20% for B, and 10% at the last would be for the cloud service C. So these are actually basically the stuff that you can play with Azure Traffic Manager. So as again I'll say, since it's most of the things are under development and this is just the beginning, many of the things are still coming, and so you'll be able to find everything in the Azure documentation. If you get time, please go and read the Azure documentation, because many of the things are updated regularly, and you can actually see the updates every 1 month or every 1.5 months by the Azure guys, by the developers, right? So moving ahead, now this is the scenario that I actually want to talk about, and I'll be showing a quick demo on this particular scenario also. So this is the third routing method, that is the performance routing method. As the name suggests, it is basically again not a rocket science, but the way it works, it's actually awesome. So by performance, I simply mean that the traffic manager profile, that traffic manager endpoint will maintain an internet latency table with it. So that internet latency table will include a list of some IP ranges, all the web applications or the endpoints that are associated with it. So as you can see, this endpoint has cloud service A, B, C, and D. And as you can see in this diagram, basically when you see at the internet latency table at the top right corner, it says the US West application. There is an application in United States West, United States East, West Europe, and East Asia, right? So it will maintain, you can say, a round trip time of your application, round trip time of accessing of, or you can say just contacting your application. So as you can see here, for the West Europe application, it's 6 milliseconds. The least round trip time is the 6 millisecond, and it's for the cloud service B. So as per the internet latency table, it will select the application that is being accessible with the least round trip time, and it will simply divert the traffic to that particular endpoint. So we can also imagine this particular scenario. So imagine you are in India, I am in India, I am trying to access a web application with the URL www.contoso.com, right? So when I try to access this application, and 3 of the instances are running around the world. One application is there in United States, one application is there in Singapore, and another application, it's there in Japan, right? Japan East. So according to the law of the nature, you can say, or the law of the distances, it's the nearest application to me is the application that is residing inside Singapore. So here you can simply imagine the application is in the Singapore is giving the 6 millisecond round trip time, and it's being accessible because it has the least amount of time. So now let us move ahead with the demo, how to create this Azure Traffic Manager profile and how to exactly start playing with the things. So as you can see, I just created this. I don't think so it's beautiful or it's ugly, but still it's easy to understand right this way, right? So in this map you can see there are 3 different locations on which your web application is being hosted. So one application is there in United States West, that is the Azure data center, that is in California. One application is there in Singapore, and the last application, it's there in Japanese, that is in, I guess, Tokyo. Yeah. So three different corners of the world, the website, and I am sitting inside India, and I'm trying to access this web application. So let us see how exactly do we start with the things. So I'll quickly turn up to my Azure portal. Just give me a second. Yeah, so I think I have been logged out, so I have to log in again, or maybe it will log in again. Yeah, so I'll just wait for this to complete. So this is basically the Azure Classic portal. So there is one more portal which we'll not be talking about in this session, since I have already talked about most of the things that Azure developers are working on. So this portal has totally changed. It actually gives you a new feel with another link. So this is manage.windowsazure.com. You can, for a better view, or for the things that could actually make you feel make a good, make your eyes feel good, you can actually turn over to portal.azure.com. But since I have already told most of the things are not updated in this particular portal, this Azure Traffic Manager, it's there in this classic portal. So this is the classic portal basically, and let us see how exactly can we configure the Traffic Manager profile. I have already created this profile earlier, so I'll simply delete this one for the sake of this demo. So it's deleted, yeah, quite fast. So what I did was I went to the new, I'll go to network services and I'll click on Traffic Manager, and here I'll simply click on create new. So here this is the place where you can actually specify the DNS prefix of your website. So it will be let us say it's Canaris Traffic Manager performance, right? So this will be the URL of my application, and even if some of the URLs are not available, it will simply prompt here itself. It will not be presented specific an error on a separate page. So here you can actually select different types of load balancing methods. So I'll select performance load balancing method for the sake of this demo. I'll click on create, and within seconds you can see it's just created. So I can see this Traffic Manager profile here, and this is basically the place where you can actually configure the things. So if you click on dashboard, you can see how many DNS queries have been running in the past, and you can also see the DNS name here also. So I'll use this DNS name later, and you can also change the DNS TTL, time to live, later. I'll show that to you. So this is the place where you can set up the endpoints that will be integrated to this Traffic Manager. I simply clicked on add endpoints, and I'll show that to you. Add endpoints, and now I can choose what type of service I actually want. So here I am choosing web app, and as you can see there are 3 different applications, and one application is hosted in Japan, one is in Southeast Asia, and one is in West US. All the 3 applications are in different parts of the world. I'll click on all of these applications, and these endpoints will be integrated with this particular Azure Traffic Manager. Give it a little bit time to configure. Till then, let me show you what exactly is Azure portal. So this is basically the new Azure portal where you will get all your things. So as compared to this previous portal, this one I feel it's better, but still, as I told you, most of the things are they are under preview, and many of the things are updated daily. So as of now, Traffic Manager works best in this portal. So maybe within the next update, by the time of next update, it will be updated. Everything will be updated here, and you can see the Traffic Manager profiles here also working the best way. So I'll simply refresh. Let's see what is happening there. So as you can see, after refreshing it, it shows the status of all the application. For example, this application that is being hosted in Japan, it's online. The other application that is in Southeast Asia, it's also online, and the last one that is in US, that is California, it's also working, it's online, right? So using this, give me a second. This DNS name, I will try to access this application. I'll copy this one, Control C. I'll paste it here. So logically, what should happen is I should be redirected to the data center or to the web application that resides in the nearest data center. And so it's taking me to the website that is in Southeast Asia. So it also shows a beautiful flag at the background. So it shows that it redirects me to the website that is in Southeast Asia. It's not taking me to the website that was in Japan, neither it takes me to the website that was in California. It simply takes me to the website that is there in Southeast Asia. So let me quickly turn over to a virtual machine that is there in United States. So just give me a second, I'll show you. So these are my two virtual machines that are there in one virtual machine. It's there in Japan West, as you can see. Japan West, yeah. Okay. So another one, it's in West US. Now I'll turn over to the virtual machine that is there in US, and let us see where it takes me. So I'll paste the URL again here, and let's see where it takes me. So since this particular user is residing inside somewhere in the United States, it's able to access this website that is the nearest one to him. So it's West US, that is in California. So now let me quickly turn back again to the virtual machine that is there in Japan. So just give me a while. Yeah, so this is the virtual machine that is there in Japan. I'll open the Internet Explorer and I'll paste down the URL here. Oh, beautiful but unreadable. So I'll paste it here. Give me a while. It's not Microsoft Edge again, it's an Internet Explorer. Yeah, so since this user is residing inside somewhere in Japan, and that is the reason why it's able to access the web application that is at the nearest place, that is in Japan, East Tokyo. So this was about how exactly do we configure things and the end user consumes it, the Azure Traffic Manager. So one more scenario I'll be talking about here is by the failover scenario here. So what exactly happens when any of your endpoint stops working? So you can imagine your business application, some critical application that should be available 24/7 to the users that are working at different time zones, right? So imagine one of the application goes down and how disastrous it could get. So let us try to make a particular web application down. So before that, let me try to delete this cache, because the applications that are there, yeah, I need to delete the cache because we'll again try to access the web application that is there. So delete, you can delete. Close this and I'll reopen it again. So this is basically my VM in the United States, and we'll imagine the web application that is there in the United States, it goes off, it's down. So this is my web application. These are my 3 different web applications that we have been accessing right now. So imagine the web application that is in the United States, it goes down. I'll click on stop. and we'll see what happens. Let us stop the website right now. Let us go back and see what happens at the traffic manager. So as you can see, just as the time I switched off this application, I stopped this application, it shows me in this that this particular endpoint it's not working, and might be there's a problem with that, or you can go and mitigate that. So inside the US data center, the application it's not working, and for a user that is residing inside US, let's try to access the particular URL, the application that he should be able to access, and again paste the same URL here. Let's see where it takes it. That's irritating. So as you can see, this is just a flat map, so I'll not be able to explain you. For the person sitting inside United States, Japan would be the closest location, because as you know the earth is round, so I don't need to explain the science in here. But since the application, it's as we turned off the application that was there in United States, it simply failed over to the application that is in Japan. So this is exactly the power of what Azure Traffic Manager can do. So I guess this is all about how to set up the things with Azure Traffic Manager. And now let us move ahead with how is this monitoring done. So as you know, just now I turned off one of the application, and Azure Traffic Manager simply failovered you can say the traffic to a different application that is residing inside different data center. So how is this thing working, how it's done? So as you can see on your screens, there is a traffic manager monitoring system that's working. So it's constantly working. Every 30 seconds it tries to ping your cloud service or its virtual machine, whatever it is. Every 30 seconds it tries to ping it. So as you can see in the step 1, it sends the get probe, and again within 10 seconds if it gets the 200 OK, it will assume that it's online and it is working. So it will again wait for the next 30 seconds, and again after exactly 30 seconds it will try to probe that application again to see if it's working or not. So that application will be declared working if it replies back within 10 seconds of sending that probe. So as you can see, for the first probe it was done okay, for the second probe it was again done okay. But as soon as we move ahead, it stops receiving the reply from the particular endpoint. So if it doesn't get the reply within 10 seconds of sending the probe, it will simply declare it not to be working. So slowly and slowly, after the next 3 consecutive failed probes, it will declare it to be not working, it will declare it to be dead, and it will stop transferring the traffic to this particular endpoint. So this is how exactly the things work. So I guess this is all about how exactly Azure Traffic Manager works, how to exactly set up the things in Azure portal, and how exactly it gives a feel to the end user. So if we move ahead, let us talk about the pricing, which I guess most of the people here must be interested in. So it's truly cheap. It's actually truly cheap. So for the first billion DNS queries, you only have to pay rupees 32.5 per million queries. That is it. And above 1 million queries, the price will get reduced to 22.53 per million queries. So I guess that is all about Azure Traffic Manager, and there are actually more of the things that we can do with Azure Traffic Manager. So if you have any of the questions, please feel free to contact me on Twitter. I'll be there to answer all your queries. And regarding you can also follow me on Twitter, and you can send me a direct message on that. Other than that, you can see my previous videos that are there in my YouTube channel, that is Cloudy Singh. So you can follow up me there, and you can, maybe I'll be able to answer all the queries that you have. So for the next steps, if you know it's the first time you're attending an Azure session, or you actually want to set up things how exactly Azure works, you can have a Azure trial account, and or you don't need to pay anything for that trial account. You'll be given $200 of the credits for a month, in which you can set up maybe many number of virtual machines, or your websites, or your databases. And for the Azure Traffic Manager documentation, you can please follow up this documentation link, where you'll find everything about Azure Traffic Manager, what exactly it does, what are all the different things, what are the different ways of setting up things, what are the different routing methods, which definitely I'll not be able to show them in this particular session, because we have less time. So I guess this is it about Azure Traffic Manager. And again, I'll say, if you have any other queries, please feel free to ask in the comments in my YouTube channel, or you can follow me up on Twitter, and I'll be there to answer all your queries. So thank you everybody for attending this session, and thanks a lot for your time. Have a nice day. Bye bye.